How's it going, everybody? We are back. Episode 11 of reading the whole Bible. Now, some of y'all that's been keeping up with what's been going on, took a little break. Sometimes you got to take a little break, mental breakdown, spiritual, whatever it is that sometimes you just need to take a step back. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I continue to read my Bible every day. But I don't just read my Bible for the podcast. So, for those of you who like to keep up with reading the whole Bible on this podcast, thank you for doing that. But also take time to do it on your own too. I'm just here to help you get through the whole Bible, but you still got to put that on your own time in with God yourself too. All right. Now, we previously left off episode 10, Exodus chapters 1 through 6. So we're picking up from there. And I'm going to be reading out of the Legacy Standard Bible. Let me make sure I said that right. So I don't want to give y'all the wrong... Legacy Standard Bible. All right. Now, I am going to say the Lord's Prayer, my favorite prayer, because I feel like anytime you come into God, you have to start off with a prayer, and then we can, have our regular conversations with God. Because believe it or not, just conversing with God, that's a form of prayer too. A lot of people don't know that, but God like to have conversations too. So, but before I read the Bible, I like to pray because I want to make sure that there ain't nothing interfering with what we about to get ready to do. I feel like when we pray, God protects us. So my favorite prayer is the Lord's Prayer. Some people got different prayers that they like, but I personally love the Lord's Prayer because it touches on pretty much everything. It sums everything up with life in a nutshell. All right. So now let's get to it. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive our trespasses, and we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. As thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. 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 Now, let's get down to the business, because this is business for us. This is personal. This is business. I feel like anything dealing with God, anything dealing with your personal life, your business life, whatever, you got to involve God into it. So make God your business and your personal. All right, let's get to it. All right, verse 1 of chapter 7 on Exodus. All right, like I said, I'm reading the Legacy Standard Bible, so you can choose whatever translation that works best for you. This is just what works for me right now. All right, verse 1. Then Yahweh said to Moses, see, I set you as God to Pharaoh, and your brother Aaron shall be your prophet. You shall speak all that I command you, and your brother Aaron shall speak to Pharaoh, that he let the sons of Israel go out of his land. But I will harden Pharaoh's heart with stiffness, that I may multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. But Pharaoh will not listen to you, and I will set my hand upon Egypt and bring out my hosts, my people, the sons of Israel, from the land of Egypt by great judgments. Then the Egyptians shall know that I am Yahweh, when I stretch my hand against Egypt and bring out the sons of Israel from their midst. So Moses and Aaron did it, as Yahweh commanded them. Thus they did. Now Moses was 80 years old, and Aaron was 83 years old when they spoke to Pharaoh. And Yahweh spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, when Pharaoh speaks to you, saying, work a miraculous wonder, then you shall say to Aaron, take your staff and throw it down before Pharaoh, that it may become a serpent. So Moses and Aaron came to Pharaoh, and thus they did just as Yahweh had commanded. And Aaron threw his staff down before Pharaoh and his servants, and it became a serpent. Then Pharaoh also called for the wise men and the sorcerers, and they also, the magicians of Egypt, did the same with their secret arts. And each one threw down his staff, and they became serpents. But Aaron's staff swallowed up their staffs. Yet Pharaoh's heart was hardened with strength, and he did not listen to them, as Yahweh had spoken. Then Yahweh said to Moses, Pharaoh's heart is hard with firmness. He refuses to let the people go. Go to Pharaoh in the morning as he is going out to the water, and station yourself to meet him on the bank of the Nile. And you shall take in your hand the staff that was turned into a serpent, and you shall say to him, Yahweh, the God of the Hebrews, sent me to you, saying, Let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. But behold, you have not listened until now. Thus says Yahweh, by this you shall know that I am Yahweh. Behold, I am about to strike the water that is in the Nile with the staff that is in my hand, and it would turn to blood. And the fish that are in the Nile would die, and the Nile would become foul. And the Egyptians would be weary drinking water from the Nile. Then Yahweh said to Moses, say to Aaron, take your staff and stretch out your hand over the waters of Egypt, over their rivers, over their streams, and over their pools, and over all their reservoirs of water, that they may become blood. And there would be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone. So Moses and Aaron did thus as Yahweh had commanded. And he raised up the staff and struck the water that was in the Nile, in the sight of Pharaoh and in the sight of his servants. And all the water that was in the Nile was turned to blood. And the fish that were in the Nile died, and the Nile became foul, so that the Egyptians could not drink water from the Nile. And the blood was through all the land of Egypt. Yet the magicians of Egypt did the same with their secret arts. And Pharaoh's heart was hardened with strength, and he did not listen to them, as Yahweh had spoken. Then Pharaoh turned and went into his house, and he did not set his heart even on this. So all the Egyptians dug around the Nile for water to drink, for they could not drink the water of the Nile. And 7 full days passed after Yahweh had struck the Nile. All right. That was chapter 7. So basically what's going on in chapter 7, so God came to Moses and Aaron, and he gave them 2 things to do to try to prove to Pharaoh who they belong to. But the first time, Aaron tried, with the staff, and they turned, things into serpents and all that good stuff. And guess what happened? The magicians that was hanging around Pharaoh, they did the same. And so the Pharaoh was like, get out of here. You ain't doing nothing that my guys can't do. So then God came back to Moses and Aaron, and he said, well, how about we turn the Nile River into blood and kill all the fish in it? They do just that. Guess what happened? The magicians show that they can do it too. So Pharaoh once again said, get out of here. My people can do that too. So now they back at square one again. So now we about to find out what's the next miraculous wonder that God puts in front of Moses and Aaron to do in front of Pharaoh. All right. Chapter 8. Then Yahweh said to Moses, come to Pharaoh and say to him, thus says Yahweh, let my people go, that they may serve me. But if you refuse to let them go, behold, I will smite your whole territory with frogs, and the Nile will swarm with frogs, and they will go up and come into your house, and into your bedroom, and on your bed, and into the houses of your servants, and on your people, and into your ovens, and into your kneading bowls. So the frogs will come up on you, and on your people, and all your servants. Then Yahweh said to Moses, say to Aaron, stretch out your hand with your staff over the rivers, over the streams, and over the pools, and cause the frogs to come up on the land of Egypt. So Aaron stretched out his hand over the waters of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered the land of Egypt. And the magicians did the same with their secret arts. They caused the frogs to come up on the land of Egypt. So, here we go. Another miraculous wonder. They got all these frogs to come up. The magician said, we can do that too. Let's keep going. Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, entreat Yahweh that he may cause the frogs to depart from me and from my people, and I will let the people go, that they may sacrifice to Yahweh. And Moses said to Pharaoh, may the honor be yours to tell me, when shall I entreat for you and for your servants and for your people that the frogs be cut off from you and your houses, that they may remain only the Nile? Then he said, tomorrow. So he said, may it be according to your word, that you may know that there is no one like Yahweh, our God. And the frogs will depart from you and your houses, and your servants and your people. They will remain only in the Nile. Then Moses and Aaron went out from Pharaoh, and Moses cried out to Yahweh concerning the frogs which he had set upon Pharaoh. So Yahweh did according to the word of Moses, and the frogs died out of the houses, the courts, and the fields. So they piled them in heaps, and in the land became foul. Then Pharaoh saw that there was relief, and he hardened his heart with firmness and did not listen to them, as Yahweh had spoken. So Pharaoh came back to them and said, hey man, get rid of these frogs, and listen, I'll let you people go. All right. So Moses cried out to, Yahweh, our God, and please, get rid of the frogs. God gets rid of the frogs. Pharaoh then sees, you know what? I changed my mind. That's what he did. He just pretty much just changed his mind. Let's keep going. Then Yahweh said to Moses, say to Aaron, stretch out your staff and strike the dust of the earth, that it may become gnats through all the land of Egypt. And they did so. And Aaron stretched out his hand with his staff and struck the dust of the earth. And there were gnats on man and beast. All the dust of the earth became gnats through all the land of Egypt. Then the magicians did the same with their secret arts in order to bring forth gnats. But they could not. So there were gnats on man and beast. And the magician said to Pharaoh, this is the finger of God. But Pharaoh's heart was hardened with strength, and he did not listen to them as Yahweh had spoken. So now, finally, Moses and Aaron was able to do a miraculous wonder given from God that the magicians could not do. All right, they was able to do everything from bringing the snakes, turning the Nile River into blood, the frogs, but the gnats, they couldn't figure that out. But even though Pharaoh saw that his magicians could not do what Moses and Aaron just did, he still hardened his heart. He still said, I don't care. I'm not releasing their people. No. Let's keep going. And Yahweh said to Moses, rise early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh, as he comes out to the water, and you shall say to him, thus says Yahweh, let my people go, that they may serve me. For if you do not let my people go, behold, I will send swarms of flies on you and your servants and on your people and into your houses. And the houses of the Egyptians will be full of swarms of flies, and also the ground on which they stand. But on that day, I will make a distinction for the land of Goshen, where my people are living, so that no swarms of flies will be there, that you may know that I, Yahweh, am in the midst of the land. And I will put a division between my people and your people. Tomorrow this sign will happen. Then Yahweh did so. And there came heavy swarms of flies into the house of Pharaoh, and the houses of his servants, and the land was laid waste because of the swarms of flies in all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron, and he said, go sacrifice to your God within the land. But Moses said, it is not right to do so, for we will sacrifice to Yahweh, our God, what is an abomination to the Egyptians. If we sacrifice what is an abomination to the Egyptians before their eyes, will they not then stone us. We must go a 3 days journey into the wilderness and sacrifice to Yahweh, our God, as he says to us. And Pharaoh said, I will let you go, that you may sacrifice to Yahweh, your God, in the wilderness. Only you shall not go very far away. Entreat for me. Then Moses said, Behold, I am going out from you, and I shall entreat Yahweh that the swarms of flies may depart from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people tomorrow. Only may Pharaoh not deal with deceitfully again in not letting the people go to sacrifice to Yahweh. So Moses went out from Pharaoh and entreated Yahweh. And Yahweh did according to the word of Moses and caused the swarms of flies to depart from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people. Not one remained. Then Pharaoh hardened his heart with firmness this time also, and did not let the people go. That's the end of chapter 8. So, again, Pharaoh said, hey man, like he did with the frogs, get rid of the frogs, and I'll let you people go. I'll let you people go. If Moses go back to God, God get rid of the frogs. Pharaoh changes his mind. He said, know what? Nah, I ain't doing it. I'm keeping your people. Now, here come the gnats. This time, the magicians could not do what Moses and Aaron displayed. But Pharaoh still didn't care. But now, the gnats are getting to the point now where the whole land of Egypt is covered in it, except for, God's people in the land of Goshen. So now, Pharaoh like, all right, man, look, get rid of all these flies and we good. All right, I got you. Just please go out there and go do whatever would you do with your God. And yeah, I get rid of him. Man, dude changed his mind again. See? That's how the devil works, man. Let's go on to Exodus 9, man. Let's keep this thing going. Exodus 9. All right. Then Yahweh said to Moses, come to Pharaoh and speak to him. Thus says Yahweh, the God of the Hebrews, let my people go, that they may serve me. For if you refuse to let them go and continue to hold them, behold, the hand of Yahweh will come with a very heavy pestilence on your livestock, which are in the field, on the horses, on the donkeys, on the camels, on the herds, and on the flocks. But Yahweh will make a distinction between the livestock of Israel and the livestock of Egypt, so that nothing will die of all that belongs to the sons of Israel. Yahweh also set a definite time, saying, tomorrow Yahweh will do this thing in the land. So Yahweh did this thing on the next day, and all the livestock of Egypt died. But of the livestock on the sons of Israel, not one died. But Pharaoh sent, and behold, there was not even one of the livestock of Israel dead. But the heart of Pharaoh was hardened with firmness, and he did not let the people go. This is a different level of stubbornness. This man see that his land get covered in gnats, and he see that his livestock is dying off. Well, they all are dead. He still don't care. He that bent on holding these people. Let's keep going. Verse 8. Then Yahweh said to Moses and Aaron, take for yourselves handfuls of soup from a kiln, and let Moses toss it toward the sky in the sight of Pharaoh. And it will become fine dust over all the land of Egypt, and it will become boils, breaking out of the swords on man and beast through all the land of Egypt. So they took the salt from the kiln and stood before Pharaoh, and Moses tossed it toward the sky. And it became boils, breaking out with swords on man and beast. And the magicians could not stand before Moses because of the boils. For the boils were on the magicians as well as on the Egyptians. And Yahweh hardened Pharaoh's heart with strength, and he did not listen to them, just as Yahweh had spoken to Moses. So, now, it got to the point now where they got boils on everybody now. And everybody should know what a boil look like. If you don't, you can Google it. But Pharaoh don't care. His heart hard and he tough. He going through all of it. He don't care. He taking it. He taking it. He don't care. Let's keep going. And Yahweh said to Moses, rise up early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh, and you shall say to him, thus says Yahweh, the God of the Hebrews, let my people go, that they may serve me. For the first time I will send all my plagues against your heart and amongst your servants and your people, so that you may know that there is no one like me in all the earth. For if by now I had sent forth my hand and struck you and your people with pestilence, you would then have been wiped out from the earth. But indeed, for this reason I have caused you to stand, in order to show you my power, and in order to recount my name through all the earth. Still, you exalt yourself against my people by not letting them go. Behold, about this time tomorrow, I will rain down very heavy hail, such as has not been seen in Egypt from the day it was founded until now. So now, bring your livestock and whatever you have in the field to safety. Every man and beast that is found in the field and is not brought home, the hail will come down on them, and they will die. The one among the servants of Pharaoh who feared the word of Yahweh made his servants and his livestock flee into the houses. But he who did not consider in his heart the word of Yahweh left his servants and his livestock in the field. Now Yahweh said to Moses, stretch out your hand toward the sky, that there may be hail on all the land of Egypt, on man and on beast, on every plant of the field throughout the land of Egypt. So Moses stretched out his staff toward the sky, and Yahweh gave forth thunder and hail, and fire went down to the earth. And Yahweh rained down hail on the land of Egypt. So there was hail and fire, flashing continually in the midst of the hail, very heavy, such as had not been in all the land of Egypt, since it became a nation. And the hail struck all that was in the field through all the land of Egypt, from man to beast. The hail also struck every plant of the field and shattered every tree of the field. Only in the land of Goshen, where the sons of Israel were, there was no hail. Then Pharaoh sent and called for Moses and Aaron and said to them, I have sinned this time. Yahweh is the righteous one, and I and my people are the wicked ones. Entreat Yahweh, for God's thunder and hail are too much, and I will let you go, and you shall stay no longer. And Moses said to him, as soon as I go out of the city, I will spread out my hands to Yahweh. The thunder will cease, and there will be hail no longer, that you may know that the earth is Yahweh's. But as for you and your servants, I know that you do not yet fear Yahweh God. Now the flax and the barley were struck down, for the barley was in the ear and the flax was in bud. But the wheat and the spelt were not struck down, for they are late ripening. And Moses went out of the city from Pharaoh and spread out his hands to Yahweh, and the thunder and the hail ceased, and rain no longer poured on the earth. But Pharaoh saw that the rain and hail and the thunder had ceased. So he sinned again and hardened his heart with firmness, and he and his servants. And Pharaoh's heart was hardened with strength, and he did not let the sons of Israel go, just as Yahweh had spoken by the hand of Moses. So remember, in the last episode, God had told Moses all this was gonna happen. How tough Pharaoh was gonna be, and how he just gonna be stubborn. But God also has a plan that to pretty much he wants to break Pharaoh down to the point where this story will be talked about for generations and generations and generations. As look how we are here in 2023 reading this story. So the whole plan is for God to show people there's only one God. and it's him, and that he's the ruler over this entire earth that we walk on. But yet, here we go, Pharaoh. He didn't care about none of that stuff. He didn't care about the hell. He didn't care about thunder, rain. He didn't care about none of that. He's still sinning. Let's go to chapter 10, man. Let's see what's going on now. Verse 1. Then Yahweh said to Moses, "Come to Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart and the heart of his servants with firmness, that I may set these signs of mine among them, and that you may recount in the hearing of your son and of your grandson how I dealt severely with the Egyptians, and how I put my signs among them, and that you may know that I am Yahweh." Then Moses and Aaron came to Pharaoh and said to him, "Thus says Yahweh, the God of Hebrews, how long will you refuse to humble yourself before me? Let my people go, that they may serve me. For if you refuse to let my people go, behold, tomorrow I will bring locusts into your territory, and they shall cover the surface of the land, so that no one will be able to see the land. They will also eat the rest of what has escaped, what remains for you from the hell, and they will eat every tree which sprouts for you out of the field. Then your houses and the houses of all your servants and the houses of all the Egyptians shall be filled, something which neither your fathers nor your grandfathers have seen, from the day that they came upon the earth until this day." And he turned and went out from Pharaoh, and Pharaoh's servant said to him, "How long will this man be a snare to us? Let the man go, that they may serve Yahweh their God. Do you not yet know that Egypt is destroyed?" So Moses and Aaron were brought back to Pharaoh, and he said to them, "Go serve Yahweh your God. Who are the ones that are going?" And Moses said, "We shall go with our young and our old, with our sons and our daughters, with our flocks and our herds. We shall go, for it is a feast of Yahweh for us." Then he said to them, "Thus may be Yahweh be with you, if I ever let you and your little ones go. See, your evil is on your faces. Not so. Go now, the men among you, and serve Yahweh, for that is what you are seeking." So they were driven out from Pharaoh's presence. Then Yahweh said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the land of Egypt for the locusts, that they may come up on the land of Egypt and eat every plant of the land, all that the hell has left remaining." So Moses stretched out his staff over the land of Egypt, and Yahweh directed an east wind on the land all that day and all that night. And when it was morning, the east wind brought the locusts, and the locusts came up all over the land of Egypt and rested on all the territory of Egypt. They were very heavy. There had never been so many locusts, nor would there be so many again. For they covered the surface of the whole land, so that the land was darkened, and they ate every plant of the land and all the fruit of the trees that the hail had left. Thus nothing green was left on tree or plant of the field through all the land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh hurriedly called for Moses and Aaron, and he said, "I have sinned against Yahweh your God and against you. So now please forgive me. So now please forgive my sin only this once, and entreat Yahweh your God, that he will only cause this death to depart from me." And he went out from Pharaoh and entreated Yahweh. So Yahweh changed the wind to a very strong west wind, which took up the locusts and drove them into the Red Sea. Not one locust remained in all the territory of Egypt, but Yahweh hardened Pharaoh's heart with strength, and he did not let the sons of Israel go. Man, God still say, "No, not yet. Not yet. This ain't enough. This ain't enough." God's saying, let's harden his heart a little bit more. Because I wanna make my point very clear. I want to leave a big imprint on this land so that this can be forever talked about. Let's keep going. Verse 21. Then Yahweh said to Moses, stretch out your hand toward the sky, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even a darkness which may be felt. So Moses stretched out his hand toward the sky, and there was thick darkness in all the land of Egypt for 3 days. They did not see one another, nor did anyone rise from his place for 3 days. But all the sons of Israel had light in their places of habitation. Then Pharaoh called to Moses and said, go serve Yahweh, only let your flocks and your herds be detained. Even your little ones may go with you. But Moses said, you must also let us have in our hand sacrifices and burnt offerings, that we may sacrifice them to Yahweh our God. Therefore, our livestock too shall go with us. Not a hoof shall remain behind, for we shall take some of them to serve Yahweh our God. And until we come there, we ourselves do not know what we shall serve Yahweh. But Yahweh hardened Pharaoh's heart with strength, and he was not willing to let them go. Then Pharaoh said to him, get away from me. Beware, do not see my face again, for in the day you see my face, you shall die. Moses said, as you have spoken, I shall never see your face again. That is chapter 10. Man, guys, I really enjoy reading this, man. I love doing this. This is something that when I first decided to do this, I wanted to just be able to just help one person, to be able to get through the Bible with, pretty much like a Bible study. But, Bible studies, they focus more so on, different things throughout the Bible, which is great. I did a lot of Bible study growing up into the church as well. But one thing that I never noticed anybody sat down and did with a group of people is read through the whole Bible. So that's what I'm here to do. And I appreciate anybody who took the time to get through this episode 11, and continue this journey with me. So, wherever you listening to this on, whether you watching this a clip of this, or whether you watching this on YouTube, if you are watching this on YouTube, hit like and subscribe. You know what I mean? Comment what you learned so far, and what you think about the podcast and whatnot. If you are listening to this on a streaming platform like Spotify or Pandora or Apple Music, whatever, I appreciate you. Make sure you like it, and you listen to it on iHeart. It's pretty much on every platform now. Whatever you listen to this on, just take the time to follow. Keep following. Don't give up. And whatever journey you are at in your life, spiritually and learning with God, it don't matter if you just decided to start learning today. It don't matter if you just started learning yesterday. It doesn't matter. Make that change right now. Don't wait till tomorrow, because tomorrow is not promised to us. You know what I'm saying? It's a verse in the Bible that says, only worry about today's troubles, because tomorrow, don't worry about tomorrow. Sorry, forgive me. Don't worry about tomorrow's problems, because today's troubles are enough. Now, I don't know exactly where it is in the Bible, but that's why I'm reading the whole Bible, because as I do this, I jot down later on chapters and verses. So, that being said, guys, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. All right? Peace. Oh, before I get out of here, make sure y'all follow the Instagram pages, man. Ways.of.unity. All right? You can follow me, my personal page at Dom_Lee7. All right? Keep in touch with me, man. Drop down comments, all that stuff. Let me know what y'all think. All right? Y'all have a safe week, man. Peace.